From the hills of California to the streets of Bataan.
As you look at this video, you have to understand the Joe Bataan story and how I came out a youngster that grew up in poverty, that was in trouble. People don't understand the pain and the suffering. That's why I could sing about it, because I've been there. If you tell me about prison, I've been there. I've been in gangs. I've done everything.
Joe Bataan, born Peter Nitolano in 1942 to African-American mother and Filipino father, grew up in El Barrio, New York's Spanish Harlem.
Do what you wanna do, yeah. I can't tell you who to sock it to. If you wanna give me some, I'll be there. If you wanna turn me on, I know where.
Since the end of the 50s, he's been singing, either along to songs heard from his family's radio or sit on the steps of Harlem dwellings harmonizing with doo-wop street quarter. One of his first influences was Frankie Lemon, along with the Teenagers and all those old groups.
Why do birds sing so gay? Well, I told you.
He constantly crossed the East River with destination Brooklyn to see groups like the Chantels, the Heartbeats, or Fats Domino at the Paramount Theater. He also soaked up the Latin rhythms that sounded from his neighborhood. Tito Puente, Cal Tjader, Eddie Palmieri, and Mongo Santamaria. At a young age, he had already realized the importance of music as a source of identity and self-respect in the poor neighborhoods. As adolescents, we had a music that was our own. Young blacks and Puerto Ricans born in the slums didn't have a voice against the poverty and oppression we were born into, but we had our beautiful sisters and a music that allowed us to be just as rich as the kids who lived in the well-off neighborhoods. But poverty had its consequences. Joe was a street fighter. His fighting abilities and quick hands were legendary in the East Harlem, where he was known as the Afro-Filipino Sugar Ray Robinson. Girls were always the reason for the fights. Being mean gave me a reputation. I wanted an identity. In 1959, he was arrested for driving a stolen car. He was sentenced to 5 years in jail. After returning to the streets of Harlem, he started a band, the Latin Swingers, and started attending auditions to get a record deal.
When I was released from the reformatory, I used to go into a center and I learned how to play piano. I taught myself. I watched anybody play and I could imitate them playing the piano. And then one day I was writing a song because I only know 2 chords. And when I sang the song, some girls came in. They wanted to hear me sing. And then more girls came in. And I said, wow, maybe I got something. So I did this for 6 months. People used to come into center just to see me sing. And I started a band. Actually, the band was the youngest band in Latin music back then in 1965. They were 12 years old. Tenían 12 años. I was the oldest one. I was about 19. And I think I stuck a knife in the piano and I said, hey, I'm the leader of the band. Anybody got any objections? And nobody said nothing, so I became the leader. So entonces, I had the band, pero el problema fue que I had to take them home because their parents didn't want the kids with Joe Bataan a títere, right? So they said, no, tú vas a tocar con ese tipo, es un títere. And I would have to take them home and promise them, look, they're just going to rehearse, I'll bring them home. So every night I would bring the boy with the bass player home, I'd bring the other kid home, and they kept saying, well, what are we going to do? Don't worry, you listen to me. We're going to have the best band in New York. I said, how do you know? I said, because I'm going to show you how you can take a group of people together and you create magic when you play together and when you feel together. And that's what the feeling of this band. That's why my early recordings all had that feeling, because everybody was involved.
Jerry Masucci appreciated the sublime melancholy of his voice and recreated him immediately for Fania. He was 25 when he put out his first record, Gypsy Woman, in 1967.
Some come from nowhere to watch this caravan.
Actually, the first record, Gypsy Woman, was an accident because the singer of the band was George Pagan, who passed away now. And he was singing in the rehearsal and he had problem with the English language. He had his diction. So we were trying to explain to him, look, you gotta say it like this, George. Yeah! He said, hazlo tú mismo. So I said, let me show you. Yeah. And I sang the song and everybody said, no. Then I said, you keep singing, Joe. And for that reason, I've been singing ever since.
Joe had gotten a much more intense taste of life than most men of his age. His bittersweet voice reverberated with determination and pride. He sang about the triumphs and tragedies of daily life in his songs.
A lot of my songs, I always tell a story, and what had happened is the audience started to pick up and they like when I talk about myself to them. They feel that they're at home and that we're about to eat some menudo together, like the Chicanos say, or we're going to share bread, because they said I'm so impersonal that I'm like my music, muchacho ordinario. And that's how I am. I've always been that way. I know the audience, I go out and I talk to them, I sit down, I drive in your car, I give you my phone number because I love it. I love music, and this is my life.
During 5 years, Joe recorded 8 classic albums for the label, becoming the undisputable king of Latin soul. In 1973, 1 week after releasing his record Sal Soul, Bataan's contract with Fania ended, and he signed with Americana Records. On this album he creates a new musical style, a mixture of salsa and soul, the Sal Soul sound.
It was a natural fusion of South America's historic rhythms, infectious feel and hot-tempered salsa, together with North America's most unique legacy and consistent export, soul. Salsa and soul, Sal Soul.
And it's so funny because during my lifetime, I started with Fania Records. I was one of the pioneers of the Fania sound. Then I went on, I started Ghetto Records, which had Paul Ortiz, big hit, which I produced. Then after that, I invented the name Sal Soul. I created the magic of Sal Soul, and the label became a tremendous success.
I can make your body shine anytime. I can make your body shine. You can get it, girl, anytime. I'll make your body shine all over. I'll make you lucky as a four-leaf clover.
But no one had really gotten the idea how to use the Latin influence with R&B at that time until Sal Soul came out.
To me, Sal Soul, at least the majority of the records that came out in those days, it was basically the same musicians as MFSB. 90% of the the salsa sound was out of Philadelphia.
Helplessly, I'm all locked up in a memory, baby. I'm crying helplessly. You hold the key to my happiness.
If you need someone to talk to, satisfaction guaranteed. If you need someone to talk to,
Yeah, the rhythm track was cut first. And that usually consisted of drums, bass, guitar, keyboard, and then the sweetening, meaning the strings and the horns and background vocals were all done at a later time.
In 1975, the LP for the Sal Soul label, Afro-Filipino, took him to the top of American R&B charts, with an instrumental version of Jill Scott Heron's The Battle, which Joe subtitled.
Starting in music that early, I went on through the disco age, through the 80s, past the Sal Soul age, and I'm hoping to do new things. I've always tried new things in my life. When I did The Battle, which was a big hit in Japan and the United States, it was an instrumental of Gil Scott-Heron's famous song, and that took off.
In 1979, he releases Mestizo, a mix of disco, funk, and rap sounds. Roc Clao, one of the first rap songs in history, elevated Bataan to the ranking of indisputable king of the dance floor.
Actually, it's a very happy song, different than the rap songs that you have now that had violence and they do a lot of cursing. This was good, clean fun, and clean for the family and for the little kids to listen to. So it was called old school rap. And actually, I have Jocelyn Shaw, who's Jocelyn Brown, famous lady singer now in England, who sang background with two other fellas. And we had a pickup band that we decided to put this together, and the rest was history. Actually, this was before videos were actually being done like you have now today in modern time. This video was done with a very small budget. We found two girls I got me some suspenders and a black pair of pants and in the disco age, and I did Rapo Clapo, one of the first, actually the first rap song to hit Europe with Sugar Hood Gang, because they did a Rapper's Delight. We followed each other with number 1, number 2, from Belgium to Holland to England to France to Alemania, Switzerland, and in this video they decided to do with a small budget. Actually, it was another group that was doing the video, and they put me in the end. They had no knowledge that this video was gonna come a hit, and Rapo Clapo is like history now. I mean, we sold millions and millions of records since 1979.
Strangely, in the US, the song became only a cult hit. But on the other side of the Atlantic, it literally whipped everyone else off the charts.
I was asked to go to Holland the first week of its release, and I never got back home until almost 6 months later. I went to every country in Europe, and of course, at that time, I had no idea the money that I would be generating in the popularity of Rapo Clapo, because all I did was television in each country. That in Europe, the people appreciate the music much more, and Joe Bataan much more than they did in the United States. I had an afro, big afro. Now it's gone. Se fue. Anyway, but the afro was significant at that time because that was the time that afros were starting in the United States, and a lot of people throughout Europe had never seen afros, and then they never heard of rap music either. After I finished in Europe, I went to South America, and the same thing happened in South America.
Avoiding a repetition of the mestizo sound, Joe goes back to the original sound that made him the king of Latin R&B on his new album Joe Bataan 2, released in 1981. Unfortunately, it wasn't as successful as Mestizo, and Joe decided to leave music world to concentrate on his family and helping troubled youth.
Back in 1994, Joe Bataan stopped playing for a while. And I was working in a community center in Castle Hill. And the boss came to me and said, "Hey Joe, why don't you bring the band together and start playing with Puente, Eddie Palmieri, or Dave Valentin. We're gonna do a tribute concert to help people." I said, "I don't have a band. I haven't played in a while." So, "Oh, try put a band together." They kept bothering me for about a month, and I put a band together, rehearsed, and made history that night.
Oh, you gotta just try. Trust
I finished playing, the people were going crazy. They said, Joe Bataan has not left. He's been here all the time. I had people come from the audience, young people, says, where can I get that music? I never heard that before. I said, I did this 20, 30 years ago. They said, but I never heard it. It's incredible. I don't understand that sound.
If you're chained down and you're crippled and you're 6 stories high.
Thanks to the warm reception from his fans, Joe decided to go back and re-release 3 of his last albums with Sal Soul Records.
If every time you watch them,
Bataan is back. The most famous Afro-Filipino in East Harlem has come back to stay. It's a great day in a barrio.
And actually, you could see young kids and kids that 13 and 14 years of age. They said that their mothers and their fathers, their tios and abuelos passed my music on to them. And to this day, they keep me in their hearts and we have a love affair.
Since his return, the creator of Latin Soul hasn't lost even a shred of his essence, but has actually multiplied his energy to show who was the first to unite Latin essence with black feeling.
4 years ago, I almost died. Joe Bataan was gone, and I was unconscious for about 10 hours. I think I had like a little diabetes and my high blood pressure. And God came down to me and said, "Look, stop running away from me. I have something for you to do." He said, "You must spread your music, but you must talk about me too. You must tell people." And he gave me another chance to sing for the people. So I am very happy. I am a rich man. I like to say that I tried to do that with my music. You will find in Joe Bataan's music nothing bad that I can remember. You know what I mean? I don't think I ever said anything bad. I don't think I cursed. It's just pure love and romance and good times that I try to project in my music.
In 1995, at New York's SOBs, Bataan played for all his friends and fans with the current Joe Bataan Band.
SOB, very famous club in New York City. Actually, in here you will see the Joe Bataan Band from New York. The fellow that you see on the trombone is Eddie Iglesias. He's no longer with me. He was my trombone player for 30 years. He passed away, one of the best trombone players in America. You will see the heart that this young man has when he plays the trombone. You will feel the salsa from this man when he plays with us. And of course, next to him, you will see one of my other members from Japan, Masa Akita. He played on this record also. Also, you got my longtime friend who stood with me on timbales, is Peter Choki Quintero. He plays timbales, and you will see the magic that this young man does on the drums. And of course, I think we had, I believe Carlos, or was it Mike Tucker on the bass. Actually, you can see that the crowd is excited that night at SOBs. I think they filmed there too, and I think the guy slipped into Colombia for some reason. I don't know, they got their own ways of doing things. my #1 fan, Bob Sirocco, the Joe Bataan #1 fan in the world. Bob, take it, do your thing.
This is the greatest artist of all time. I have been listening to opera for over 50 years and all kinds of music. People don't know what they're missing. If you've never heard Joe Bataan, you know, you've missed something in music.
Here I am again, and it's now 2006, from 1966 with Vampisoul, and we're starting again the Vampisoul's first release, my first release in almost 20 years. It's more than 25. People are very interested in my past. They want to know how I grew up, how's the neighborhood, how was the music then, and then when they see the pictures, they're amazed that some of the fashions that were there are now. You know, the Kango hats, the knit shirts, the gold chains that they wear. We were doing that a long time ago, you know? And the music is fresh now. A lot of people seem to think that a lot of it is new because they don't know it's another generation.
After 20 years without releasing new material, Joe Bataan reinvents himself again on his new album, Call My Name, released in 2004 on Vampisoul.
God has blessed me with so many songs. I've written over 110 songs, and I'm still writing. I've recorded maybe close to 20 different albums. Tons of compilations have been released on me. I've been on Sony Records, I've been on RCA, I've been on Sal Soul, I've been on Fania, I've been on Ghetto Records, you name it. There's a lot of labels that I've been on. And now, with God's blessing, Vampisoul was wise enough to release my new album, which we're getting some reaction.
The songs on Call My Name are echoes from El Barrio, an album that could have been made 30 years ago, or that could be presenting the next name coming out of Spanish Harlem to keep an eye on.
Iñigo from Vampisoul may not even know this, but when the first album was released on Vampisoul, he sent me the press release, and someone said, "It's a great day in Harlem. Joe Bataan is back."
Joe Bataan's music resides between city history, where races, dances, are rhythm mixed to the palpitations of every corner, every stoop. It's a story of youth who live the day-to-day of a great city. The crooner from El Barrio has returned.
Vivo.